A Escola American Heritage, ela tá ranqueada aí entre as melhores escolas aí dos Estados Unidos.
Incredible academics, which starts as 3 years old, where you have incredible fine arts, where you have incredible athletics all on one camp. And we have one of the best math programs in the country. We have 6 programs called pre-professional. We have pre-med, pre-law, pre-engineering, biomedical engineering. 3 things matter for the U.S. So grades matter.
Okay.
Test scores matter. The other thing that really matters for helping kids get into universities is being well-rounded, being a leader, being in a club, playing sports at a high level, being unique.
Hoje eu tô aqui com o nosso amigo Marc Shaw. O Marc Shaw, ele é o diretor do departamento de admissões da Escola American Heritage. O propósito desse vídeo aqui hoje, da gente estar aqui hoje, é justamente o que? Trazer para vocês um pouquinho mais de detalhes do sistema educacional norte-americano e principalmente da escola, tá? A Escola American Heritage, ela tá ranqueada aí entre as melhores escolas aí dos Estados Unidos, escolas privadas, uma excelente escola. E a ideia nossa é justamente o que? Trazer para vocês, pais, todos os detalhes.
So, American Heritage was founded 60 years ago. We started with some smaller campuses, one in Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, and then in the mid-70s, the owner of our school bought some land in Plantation.
That we are right now.
Where we are right now, where it was actually farmland, and if you went down Broward Boulevard where our school is, people would ride horses up and down. And he bought land because he foresaw a lot of growth in South Florida, and he thought this was a great location. He actually turned out to be a better location than he ever would have expected, because what you have is you have 595,
Okay.
that connects with Sawgrass,
Okay.
which connects with 75, which connects with 95. So you have all of these locations meeting here, which makes the school very easy to access. Over the years, what we've seen is a lot of people obviously have moved to South Florida. Thankfully, a lot of families from Brazil, as you know, and many that we've met. What makes our school unique, it's not one answer, right? It's everything. And what I mean by that is you don't have any other location like this in school where you have incredible academics, which starts as 3 years old, where you have incredible fine arts, where you have incredible athletics all on one campus. So everything we do at the highest level, but we offer multiple levels for students, because you may come in and let's say your child is exceptional in math, and we have one of the best math programs in the country, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're excel at English or social studies, right? So you want to provide the best levels for every child where they can find success. And what we do really well from a young age is we help children find what they love academically.
Perfect.
And why is that important? It's important because what we know from most children is if they find something they love, there's a higher probability that they're going to be successful. And as you know me for many years,
Exactly.
my background, I graduated American Heritage in 1988. I went to University of Florida, and then I moved to New York and I worked at JP Morgan. I worked in the fund management side. And one of the things that you look at, let's say when you're buying stocks, is what's the best probability of success, right? And how can you find that probability of success? And so at American Heritage is very similar for children, is if you give them the best probability of success, we're helping them in every way. And that's what we're trying to do, is increase their probability of being successful from a young age till they get to that middle school year, and then you get into high school where you're finding the things that you really love and you're doing it at the highest possible. So what's unique about our school is the depth of our curriculum. And so beginning in first grade, we have students that can place into a higher level math. They also have the option of doing viola or violin.
Wow.
So kids at an early age are getting options to do things. Then we also offer multiple levels of classes beginning in first grade. In fourth grade, there's actually 4 levels of math. In fifth grade, there's 2 levels of science. In fourth grade, there's 2 levels of English. So you start to see kids developing and finding areas where they have strengths, and we nurture that. Then we start to offer a lot of clubs beginning in junior high, where kids can experience clubs to learn about things they like. In high school, we have 6 programs called pre-professional. We have pre-med, pre-law, pre-engineering, biomedical engineering.
And by the way, I'm a very good example of this. I have my 4 kids studying at Heritage School. Actually, Zion and Francesca, they probably going to the 12, the last year, they'll be seniors. And basically what you're mentioning here is exactly what's happened to us. Like Zion, it is already, actually he's here right now, he's working in engineering. And Francesca, she's already going for medicine. She's going to be a doctor.
Right, and
this is so important.
These are unique programs, right? Other schools, I know other schools have pre-med programs or pre-law, but ours are taught not by teachers, but by doctors and lawyers. And in our pre-law program, we have 5 judges that teach.
Wow.
And they teach, and then they go sit and they determine court cases. We have a head of cardiology at Cleveland Clinic. We have all these high-level physicians that come in and they teach pre-med classes. Your kids in pre-med do medical terminology, embryology, anatomy and physiology, organic chemistry.
Unbelievable.
When the kids graduate our pre-med program, there's a couple things why these programs are really important, because they give you the academics, but they also let you understand really how it works practically. And that's an important component of all of our academics, where you're teaching and you're showing them how things are practical. In lower elementary, they go to science labs. In pre-K 3 and 4, they go to science labs and they learn about science.
Now they have contact in all this information. Like I remember in our generation, like we're probably the same age.
Yeah, I'm older than you.
Yeah. Thank you. But a little bit older. Yeah. But in our generation, I remember when we are almost going to the college, you know that the Brazilian education, the method is a little bit different, actually completely different here in the US. But like talking about myself, like when I was like 17, 18 years old, I was not so, I didn't know exactly which field I wanna be applying, if I wanna be an engineer, doing a business or a doctor, etc. And the school, I believe, and correct if I'm wrong, but I think it is one of the biggest plus in American heritage, that the school provides all that source, all this opportunity, you know?
They provide the opportunity, and what I always tell families, I graduated American Heritage in 1988, and I went to University of Florida. I could not get into University of Florida today. With my grades and my scores, I couldn't graduate it because it's gotten harder and harder. So we have an obligation to prepare the kids at a higher level, right? And that prepares them academically, that prepares them to be well-rounded, which are clubs and the pre-professional programs. We have over 100 clubs that the kids can get involved with. The pre-professional programs, one thing we didn't mention about the pre-professional, when the kids complete the curriculum, your daughter in her senior year is going to do internships where she leaves school and she's going to go into surgery. She might cut an umbilical cord or put in staples. So when she's done, she's going to know if she wants to.
Yeah, she's already doing that.
Yeah, so she knows. She knows that she wants to do this. And what's going to happen is 50 to 60% of the kids that graduate will get into medical school right out of high school. There's honors medical school programs that the kids get into. Now, the other component that we provide for kids, because 3 things matter: the good grades, the well-rounded, the test scores. We recognized that students learn better in a slow and steady way. So what we started doing is we offer SAT and ACT, which are the college entrance test preparation.
These are preparation, like
correct.
For who is not familiar, all these terminology.
ACT and SAT are the college entrance tests. So kids take those tests in 10th and 11th grade ahead, and sometimes in 12th grade ahead of applying to college, okay? And so what we do beginning in 9th grade math and 9th grade English is we start offering SAT and ACT preparation, 10 minutes a week in math, 10 minutes a week in English for 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. So kids learn about it in a slow and steady way. It gives them a better chance of raising their scores. And we built this program to help our kids. And what happens is in 11th grade, kids take a PSAT, the practice SAT.
Okay.
That test is scored and compared to kids all around the country. And the top percent of test takers of that practice SAT in 11th grade, the top test takers are put into a category where they're called National Merit Scholars.
Okay.
We have more than any school, any private school in the country.
We're going to be talking these a little bit on the next.
So more than any other school over the last 5 years. And so we're preparing kids in a very systematic way to give them the best chance of success. And what we find is when our kids go to college, they're more successful because of 2 things. One is they have the knowledge, which is very important. The other thing is they know what they want.
I think this is what is so important.
Your kids are smart.
So important.
Your kids are smart, and now that they know what they want, there's a better chance that they're going to be successful.
So the school provides all these source, all these opportunities.
To help them make better decisions. Right, and be better person. There's a couple things. One thing I want to mention, this is important for the families coming from Brazil. I know in Brazil, the number one thing for getting into universities in Brazil are test scores.
Exactly.
In the U.S., it's different. And it's different from the U.S. The U.S. is different from the U.K. It's different from Brazil. 3 things matter for the U.S. Good grades do matter. We have kids coming from Brazil, and sometimes they're applying for 9th grade, and they show report cards with bad grades. And the parents say, my child is so smart, and they don't work hard in school because the grades don't matter. But we let them know they do matter here. So grades matter.
Okay.
Test scores matter, right? The other thing that really matters for helping kids get into universities is being well-rounded, being a leader, being in a club, playing sports at a high level, being unique. And the reason I say this is because everybody that applies to Harvard or MIT is a straight A student with perfect test scores. Those 2 pieces are very important, but being unique, being in a club, playing an instrument, being in the band, being a superior violin player, playing in a sport a high level, these things are very important. And so when we work with students when they come to school, we help them in all of those areas to give them, as we spoke about, a better probability of success. Our kids get into great universities because they're great students. They take high-level classes. They are well-rounded. They're in clubs. They show leadership, and they do well in their tests, their SATs or their advanced placement. There's a level of class the kids can take called advanced placement, where you take the class. At the end of the year, you take a test. If you pass it, you can get college credits. Top universities like to see students taking top-level classes. Our students take those top-level classes, and then when they take the exam, they get the highest scores, and the colleges and universities see this, and that's why it helps our students get into it.
And Mark, I don't want to put in a difficult situation.
Yeah.
In your opinion, like if I ask you, the 3, 4, 5 is up to you, but mention the biggest differentials of American Heritage from other schools. Why American Heritage so well ranked? What is the big differentiation of this school, from the others?
I think the number one thing that we do is we prepare students for success.
Okay.
Right. So when our students leave here, they're prepared. They're prepared because, as we spoke about, they have a knowledge and they know what they want. And like you were saying with your kids, knowing what you want gives you more focus. And it's not just on the academic side, it's on, the sports side, it's on the music side. My daughter is going to Emerson University for a Bachelor's of Fine Arts. It's a unique program that tailors to students that want to study the arts. And we have students that have left our school and gone to Columbia University in art.
Wow.
And so it's preparation, but also a diversification and depth of curriculum and choices for kids to help them identify what it is that they really want to study, and then offering it to them at the best possible level, right? And you layer on top of that exceptional guidance, exceptional preparation on SATs, and all of the support that we provide for the students. Now, the one thing in all of this that's a bonus, and you can attest to this as a parent, is the environment and the community that we have is very welcoming and very nurturing. And so you have this preparation, but you also have an incredible environment. And, one of the things that we really love with the Brazilian families is how connected they are with the school. We don't fundraise, we don't ask for extra money, but we encourage you to be a part of our community like you are, like so many families are. I would say the first thing is start the process as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Right. You work with families for long periods of time. When a family is first thinking that it may be a possibility that they want to come to the United States, apply immediately.
There is a waiting list, correct?
Yeah.
It is important.
So there is a waiting list, which is why I always tell families, apply as soon as possible, get on a waiting list, and maybe you come in 2 years, you have a better chance of getting in if you apply 2 years earlier than if you tried to get in the same year. That's one. The other thing, and I spoke about this earlier, is a lot of students coming from Brazil focus on test scores, but work on the grades and the academic discipline, right? I would say as you get older, now for young students, this is less important, but for the students coming as they're entering 7th grade through 12th grade, very important that they have an understanding of English, right? And the reason I say this is because we start offering a lot of unique classes, and if you're unable to master the English language, it's going to lower your and hamper your ability to take some of the classes that you may be interested in. So I would say start working on your child's English. Now, for the application process, it's not that complex. We ask for grades, we ask for letters of recommendation, and then we do an admissions assessment. Okay. You can do it in person. If you come to visit the United States, you're in South Florida, we can test you at any point in time, or we can do it virtually. It's going to focus on math skills and reading comprehension English skills. Those two things, and we look at all of this, and then we make a decision, will this child be successful? Now, what's great about applying a few years earlier is maybe you test a child and you identify some areas where they need to be supported. Okay. Now, the families can support them in Brazil, or many times families are coming to South Florida for the summer. You can do one of our summer programs, summer camp or summer education, or you can do summer education in the morning and summer camp in the afternoon. All of these are options for the families, but we work with the families and we stay in communication with them the whole process.
Perfect. Okay. Pessoal, depois do vídeo, obviamente, eu vou estar passando o contato dele, do Marc Shaw. Ele é o diretor de admissões da escola e, obviamente, qualquer dúvida que vocês tiverem, podem entrar em contato diretamente com ele ou através de nós, tá? Mas é importante mencionar isso para vocês. Tudo também está descrito no website da escola, ou seja, esse processo de admissão para vocês, famílias que eventualmente almejam, estão planejando vir se mudar e ter os filhos aqui na escola privada, seja American Heritage ou qualquer outra escola.
The first thing is, we've been teaching English as a second language classes longer than any other school in South Florida, so it's built into our curriculum where we offer support for non-native English speakers. In addition, we have counselors that support. We have a lot of Brazilian families that are always willing to help, like yourself.
Exactly.
How you help your families. I mean, there's, a lot of the families coming from Brazil don't know some of the ways that schooling works, but also things like for moms and the kids finding doctors, right? Or where to shop for school supplies. And we have a lot of families that can help support, and a lot of great individuals like yourself who help the families adjust beyond what the school offers as far as the English as a second language support, the guidance support. We also have programs academically where the guidance counselors can help the students, and many of our students offer to be ambassadors where new students are paired with them to help them navigate school. This can be answered in a few ways. There's academic extracurricular activities like clubs that we have. We have over 100 clubs. These clubs are essential for students. And I always tell students, if you come to school and you leave after school and go home, you're missing a huge opportunity. And the students need to join clubs for many reasons. One is it's social, right? It's a good way to meet other students that have similar interests to you. The other thing is it gives you an opportunity to express leadership, community service. All of the clubs have community service built into them, and our students need to do community service hours to be able to graduate. So it gives them the opportunity. The other area of extracurricular is athletics and sports, and it teaches you hard work. It teaches you teamwork. We've had a lot of very successful students from Brazil. We've had swimmers, we've had tennis players, we've had golfers. Believe it or not, we've had some good soccer players.
Yeah.
A lot of, and my son played soccer. One of his good friends.
I know they're a big soccer.
Yeah, but one of his good friends is a Brazilian young man that he met that he's great friends with. So there's a lot of opportunities, and it teaches you, teamwork. It helps you build your friend circle, and it helps you also build out your application for colleges and showing that you're well-rounded. Success of kids going to schools like NYU and University of Florida. We've had kids go to Berkeley, but there's one young lady that I remember. I knew her because I am a faculty rep I work with kids in our business program, and she was on a business club. And this young lady came to American Heritage, I believe, in 7th grade, Her native language was Portuguese from Brazil, but she also spoke Spanish and English. And on her own, she learned Arabic.
Wow.
Right? And she was very interested in social sciences and the Middle East. And she applied to all these top schools, and she got into just about every single one. She got into Harvard and Stanford and Princeton and Columbia. Now, what was interesting was a lot of kids noticed she didn't do AP Calculus or AP Biology, but she wasn't interested in sciences or engineering, and she had a focus of what she wanted to do. And because she had a focus, and she was unique in that she spoke 4 languages.
How old was she when she started?
I think 7th grade. I think
Seventh grade.
grade. Yeah, so 7th grade, so 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, she was here for those years. And she ended up going, I believe, to Harvard, but got into all these great schools because she was unique and she had a pathway for herself of what she wanted to do. And I remember her because I remember her focus wasn't the science and math. It was more on social studies and Middle East, and learning Arabic was a unique thing for a student coming from Brazil.
And you're still keeping any communication?
I keep in communication, but I do follow kids. We have a lot of our students that have graduated that connect with the school through LinkedIn. And I look to see what they're doing. And if you go to our LinkedIn account, it's crazy because you have kids at all the best law firms and all the best financial firms at Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan.
And all of them, the
consultants like McKinsey, PricewaterhouseCoopers, all the great accounting firms, and the graduates, and they all connect to us through LinkedIn, and I can see how well they're doing. So in the state of Florida, we're the number 1 private school.
Wow.
In the country, I think we're around 24, 25, but without being arrogant, I don't think that fully represents our school. And the reason, I think it's a great number. It's an amazing number. There's 3,000 schools. But, if you look at our students, right? If you look at our students and the accomplishments, we're the number 1 private school in the country over the last 5 years in National Merit Scholars. We're one of the top science research programs in the country. We have kids that are 1 in the world at the Intel Science Fair. We have kids, math competition. We're the number 1 private school in the country in math competition. We have one of the best fine arts departments in the country. Athletics, numerous times we've been, Max Prep is a high school. They rank high schools in individual sports. We've been the number 1 athletic program in the country. So, our ranking is high and we've done a great job. I think that we have room to continue to move up and to show we compete with anybody. And more important than a ranking, and if you go to niche, is a big ranking. More important than how we rank in niche, if you speak to the universities, right? I had lunch recently with a gentleman who is the head of admissions at University of Chicago. It was a dinner actually, and we sat together. And I asked him about our school, and he said, I visit 5 schools every year, and I visit American Heritage as one of those 5. If I didn't think of American Heritage as one of the best schools in the country, I wouldn't visit you guys. And it's like that. The colleges visit us. And when our kids go to those universities, they're prepared. They're successful. And that's more important than any ranking that you find. But on the rankings, we still do great. If you look at niche, you can see us there. So, and again, you're a parent. You'll find when your kids leave here, your daughter, your son are going to be successful relative to other kids at the same school. We hear that from kids at Harvard, at Yale, at University of Florida. Our kids are prepared.
Yeah, as a parent, I can give my, testimonial here. I'm very, very happy, I'm from Brazil. I have several, I think we already brought here over 100 families here, and they are, I'd say that 99.9%, they're so satisfied, so happy with the school. So, yeah.
And even the Brazilian families that didn't come from you, they're not as happy because they don't get as good service, but they're also successful.
The school is unbelievable. It's very nice.
Well, we've worked together for many years. 10 years, I think. And we've worked together, and, we go to Brazil together. We meet families together. And you've referred many families to our school, which is important for us. And these are good families that you've referred. And for families that are coming to the United States, a benefit of working with your company, with you, is our relationship. And why does that help them? Well, we value that relationship. And right now, as we mentioned, we have long wait lists in every grade. But for our key partners like yourself, we give your families priority. So if we have a wait list, we do everything we can to get your families to the top of the wait list, which gives them a better chance of getting in. And we do that because of our relationship that you have with the school, with the trust that we have with one another, with us going to Brazil and meeting these families together, because we know the families that you're bringing to us are quality and they get extra care working with you. And we know that they're going to come in and they're going to have the support of us, but also of you, which gives them a better chance of being successful.
Perfect, thank you. Well, so many events, that we had together, goes together, yes.
Yeah, and I like going to Brazil, and I like meeting the families. And I always tell the families that for us, it's important that it's a partnership. And the Brazilian families are very close with their children, and they're very invested in the success of their student, which for us is very important because it's not just the school, it's all of us working together to support the children.
The environment.
Yeah.
And this is very, this is very important, as a parent, like the diversity, American heritage, like if you can tell a little bit more about, like people from South America, from Brazil, from Argentina, from Europe, from China,
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
I graduated here and I lived in London for 4 years. And when my children went to school in London, they had kids from all around the world. And one of the things that we were excited about to come to American Heritage was that there's so much diversity that my kids can be exposed to and experience, and kids of all shapes, sizes, economic backgrounds. It makes for a more well-rounded human being, I think.
And this is going to be back them, like
long-term.
Yeah,
they have to relate to different cultures and accept everybody. And, it's a great community we have, and the Brazilian families are a big part of that, and the families you brought and you all a big part of that. So,
and I hope we'll continue bringing all these families.
We hope so too. We have 2 campuses. We have one here in Broward County in Plantation, and the other one is in Palm Beach County in Delray Beach, Boca Raton border. And this gives families options of where they're living. As you know, there's great communities in Palm Beach and there's great communities. Both schools have free bus service to areas all the way to Wellington, all the way down to Aventura and Sunny Isles. So we provide free transportation. Both of the schools are owned by the same family and they're run the same exact way.
I think I met them in Mexico. Huh?
Yeah.
It's very nice.
So both are managed the same way. Now the campus in Broward has a little bit more students in this.
How many students here in Broward?
We have about 2,700 and they have about 1,600.
Okay.
Plus or minus, but roughly. So it's a bit more students, both beautiful. Both, again, follow the same curriculum, have the same fun.
It's important. The American Heritage School offers from kindergarten, pre-K3
through 12th grade.
To 12th grade. Right. Okay. Pre-K3 to 12th grade.
Yeah, both highly ranked, both run the same way. It's like, we want it to be like when you go into Starbucks and you get a cup of coffee, and it's the same cup of coffee in every Starbucks all around the world. When you get an education in Broward and Palm Beach, it's the same.
It's the same.
Same thing, same family, same approach. Same environment, same everything. Well, as I mentioned, we value the Brazilian families. They're incredible how they're involved in their children's lives and become part of our community, to the point where, the school has sponsored me and paid for me and paid for events where we've gone to Brazil with you. And we've gone there to meet families, right? And as you know, we get a lot of families through these events. And what we found is the best way to do it is we go and we meet the families and we talk about the school. We'll have lunch, we'll have dinner, we'll meet with them at a nice club that we went to, and we get to know them. And sometimes what we find is you meet one family and maybe they don't come for 2 years, but when you get this family, they're so happy. They tell all their friends.
It's like a chain.
Yeah, and they tell all their friends, and we've had a lot of success in our visits, and we don't visit many countries. Brazil is something that's important for us, and so we will go there. You tell us when. We're happy to meet with any of these families face to face. If you think that it makes sense, then we trust your relationship is very strong with us, and we trust you. We're happy to go. We're happy to meet families. We're happy to meet with them face to face. In Rio, Sao Paulo, we went to Porto Alegre. Wherever you feel that there's an opportunity for us to meet with families, if it makes sense, we're happy to do that.
Na verdade, isso é interessante, tá, pessoal? Porque a gente, pelo menos 2, 3 vezes por ano, a gente vai pro Brasil Antes eram eventos grandes que a gente fazia, e hoje a gente prefere fazer essas reuniões mais privativas, like private events, you know. Actually, you're getting really good in Portuguese, if you can understand. Mas é isso aí, pessoal. E a gente consegue, hoje, uma das estratégias que a gente faz para estar levando a escola até vocês, a gente vai até vocês, tá? Fazendo essas reuniões, mini reuniões. Pode ser na casa de vocês, num restaurante, né? Seja no almoço, no jantar, um grupo pequeno ou para um casal. Mas a gente percebe que realmente isso faz a diferença.
Start early.
Start early,
Start, planning, get your kids accepted, get them on a wait list. If they need extra support, get them the extra support. If they need to come for summer to work on their English, to make friends, get them. Find a home. I mean, obviously, the housing market is difficult in South Florida, but having somebody like yourself that can help find them the right home in the right neighborhood that suits the family, I think that's very important. Now, I'm going to say one thing, and you may disagree with me, but a lot of families come from Brazil, and they live on the beach in the tall, buildings that are beautiful. They're amazing. But for me, for moving to South Florida, the neighborhoods are safe here. Families should feel safe, and you can get a home with a backyard. You get a dog and a pool and a barbecue. All about it. And for kids, it's a much better existence. You can invite their friends over. You can barbecue. You live in these great communities, and like you have in your backyard, you set up a soccer field. I had a soccer field when my boys were growing up. You can do these things.
This is what we call quality of life, They can
for me, if you want to live on the beach and you want to live in a beautiful high rise, that's up to you. But for me, one of the advice I would give to parents is consider a home with a backyard and a pool and a dog, and where you can have community visiting you. I think it's a better quality of life, but that's up to the...
And this is a very interesting topic because I have so many friends and so many clients, customers that living on the beach. And tell us about, because the school also offers
free bus
service. So I have many.
We have a lot of families that live in Miami Beach, Aventura, Sunny Isles, and we have buses and transportation to bring them to school, and they're a big part of the school. So you don't have to worry about where you live. Cassio will find you the right place to live, but consider a house. That's just my opinion.
To be our neighbors.
Be our neighbors right down the street from the school. So
okay, Mark, thank you so much.
All right, my friend.
I appreciate it.
Anytime. I'm always available. And the other thing I would tell to you and your families is, I'm always available.
I know.
Your families, and this is another benefit of working with Cassio, is we're very connected, and we connect through WeChat.
Exactly.
WhatsApp, WeChat, whatever it is, we connect with families, and I'm happy to help you. And as Cassio's client, we do roll out the red carpet and provide better customer support than you'll find anywhere.
Pessoal, é isso aí. O Marc, como eu te falei para todos, ele vai estar disponível, tá? Ele fica disponível para vocês. Vocês que têm interesse em vir aqui para os Estados Unidos, obviamente, se mudar, estudar na American Heritage, eu também me coloco à disposição. Tá? Eu tenho meus 4 filhos aqui, a gente faz esse tour não somente na escola American Heritage, mas em outras escolas. Obviamente a gente está aqui hoje na escola, eu sou praticamente fã da escola, e é isso aí. Eu acho que o mais importante, a lição daqui hoje é o planejamento, né? Como a gente vem batendo em outros bate-papos, né? O planejamento, né? Então não adianta simplesmente vocês chegarem e virem para cá, tem que ter um planejamento, vocês têm que conhecer a escola. É muito importante vir para cá, have a tour on the school, conhecer o campus, que é fenomenal aqui. Tem 2 campos, tanto de Plantation quanto de West Palm Beach. Ou seja, é uma escola magnífica, só que tem que ter um planejamento, tá? Hoje, infelizmente, a gente tem famílias que estão querendo vir para cá e tem uma fila de espera aí de 2, 3 anos. Então, realmente, planejamento. Tá bom, pessoal? Agradeço, obrigado e até a próxima.